So you see what this says. Originally aired on 60 Minutes, Australia, 1989. I was 1 year old. 60 Minutes was basically like what was that? It's something about Saturday Night Live, I think. No, not Saturday Night Live. Uh, damn. Uh, Nightline, or something like that. Dateline. It was something like 60 Minutes, and it was kind of like the top cases going on in your area and or your country.
That goes well beyond the kind of things we normally associate with. In 27 years of reporting, it has to be one of the most painful stories I've ever had to tell. How many men or how many people would...
What, at one time?
Yes.
But everyone who was there, which must have been about 20, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing or smiling, or had another man or other men.
A chronicle of debauchery and depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself, could Teresa be just making it up?
No. I know what's true and what's not. No, I know what I saw.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare that you're reliving.
Hey, Nene.
Out there is information that the real power players behind the occult world, the Luciferian world, which is the top of it, most of that information that you hear about has been deliberately put out there as a decoy, so that we never really find out who the real players are and what their real agenda is. The people that were in the coven were literally hundreds and hundreds, and they weren't. We have this idea of Satanists are these people walking around looking like Marilyn Manson, when she said that the Satanists were doctors, lawyers, teachers, pastors, Sunday school teachers, librarians, people you would never imagine. She actually said that the family that she was with, her adopted family, were high-ranking officials in their country. So this kind of changed my whole idea of what Satanism is all about. This is not some weird bunch of teenage kids wearing black clothes, meeting at a haunted house on Saturday night, holding hands around a pentagram. These are highly organized, highly trained individuals, very intelligent, holding high positions in our communities.
Before we get to our next traumatic, brace yourself.
You're down to the place. Have you been back here since? Okay, you doing all right?
Yeah. One guy, I don't even know his name, but he said that he owned the two girls that were there. And I thought he meant like he was their pimp or something. And he kept asking if I wanted to buy one of them. And, like to rent them? No, to buy it.
Revelation 18, chapter 18, verse 11 through 13, King James Version. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. And at the bottom it goes to say, and cinnamon and odors and ornaments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all thy manner, vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and brass and iron and marble. It's kind of hard to hold that.
You want to buy her, that you can own her. And I couldn't really grasp it. Like how do you just buy somebody else? It didn't make sense to me. This is the house that the dope was bought at. The two girls stripped me down and put me in the shower. They were washing me, and I remember I was covered from head to toe in blood, and I kept asking. I was like, I'm looking down, and the water is pink. It's cascading down me, and I kept asking, I'm like, why am I bleeding? And don't worry, it's not your blood. It's not your. And well, whose blood? Don't worry about it. And so they got me washed up, and I'm pretty much in I'm pretty sure I was in shock at this point, but I had no recollection of what had gone on, but I just had a feeling in my spirit. Like, I don't even know if it was my spirit, but I just knew I had to get out of there. And they put me in the bedroom, and they locked the door from the outside with a padlock on it. And the window in the bedroom also had a lock on it, but like a smaller padlock. And they locked me in this bedroom right here. And then I broke out of the window. They had a lock on it. I pulled as hard as I could, and I remember it shot up and hit the ceiling, ricocheted over and hit the closet door, and then I could hear them fumbling, trying to get the padlock that they had on the outside of the door open. And then I dove through the window and ran down the alley. But I somehow made it out to the street and all the way across the vacant, the whole lot that was vacant, and into a church parking lot. A van parked in the parking lot there. I had to hide. I knew I had to hide because I was running from him. And I jammed my fingers up under here, which I have no idea how I did it. And I just pulled, and the window shattered, and then I just crawled through the window. Early Sunday morning, and everybody shows up to go to church the next day, and I believe the pastor showed it for anybody else and saw the broken window, so we called the police, and they came to, I woke up to the police outside the van, like, well, it looks like